This is the MLG Spring Championship Kespa qualifiers. This is the final between Stats and Ty from Group A, and this is set number 2. Stats currently up 1-0 over his opponent Ty, and Stats also spawning as the blue Protoss in the top left-hand position.
His opponent lost the first game against Stats, and now if he loses one more, he doesn't have any chance of making it to MLG anymore. So he really needs to win 2 games in a row if he wants to go. His name is Ty from Kespa teammate, spawns as Red Terran on the right bottom position of the map.
Yes, he does. So the question is, Ty, do you think he's going to open up with the Command Center first opening, or try to do something a little more standard, or maybe even go for the gas first and try to be very aggressive?
Well, anything but too aggressive, I have to say, because Ty cannot risk everything on the line right now, especially after losing the first game. He could try to cheese his opponent or put really heavy aggression like what you mentioned before, 1 base Hellbat drops into expansion. But the problem is, if his opponent drops a defense against the Hellbat, just like he did in game number 1, then Ty is going to fall behind against his opponent, and Ty doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah, it looks like for the most part, he is going to open up the identical to game number 1. As he gets his gas behind that barrack. So no really greedy openings and no really risky openings from him.
Yeah.
And also I want to point out something. Ty tried to be really aggressive in the first game early on with some Hellions and tried to do some Hellbat drops, Bio drops, and overall they weren't really that effective. Stats' defense was too good at holding off the attacks from doing critical amounts of damage, so maybe he's going to go for more of a long game macro-orientated style play and less reliance on props.
Yeah, and also Stats showed how dominant he is in this particular matchup. In set number 1, he got up to Colossus, he got a lot of High Templars out, and eventually transitioned into Tempest. This SCV a little bit sneaky over here.
Looks like we may see some type of proxy
Don't
play from
suicide.
Ty here.
Don't jump off the cliff. Don't do that.
Life's worth living, little SEV.
Okay, he's gonna build something else.
He
Thank
decides
God.
to not jump off, and then Azella comes by and just kills him.
That would be really anticlimactic for this SCV over here, but he is gonna fill the factory. So Ty, he's gonna apply some aggression. So now he's really risking it.
Yeah, but you know what? This is his style of play. He's very comfortable going for aggressive moves like this. So at least he's not doing something he's uncomfortable with or doesn't practice often.
Yes.
And in high pressure situations, players oftentimes they'll get nervous and like, all right, let me just do something that I normally don't do, and it backfires on them. And we're gonna have to see if Stats eventually scouts this proxy over here. And Kespa players, they're amazing at scouting these proxies, but I'm not sure if Stats is going to be able to catch this one this time around.
Yeah, well, this is really risky by Ty, but also a really nice move. Even looking at the map, Akilon Wastes, if you remember the Pro League stats, Protoss just dominates all the Terran players on this map.
This is pretty much a high-risk, high-reward build from Ty.
Yes.
And he's going to go for a Widowmine drop from the look of things, because he's already building one right now. Of course, getting a star port behind this to try to drop in Stats' main base, and we will see an expansion come from our Protoss player right now as he puts that down. Sending the Mothership Core across the map here, and this could put Stats in a pretty dangerous position early on, because he's not going to have anything at home for defense, and he's going to most likely use the recall to get home.
Yeah, at this rate, he's going to see a few Marines. It's like, oh, this seems a little bit standard, but he doesn't know that the Widowmines are coming out on the way. The SCV double checks that the Nexus is over there, which also double confirms that there's not going to be any early Robo from his opponent.
Yeah, it's true. The Robo only just starting right now at a pretty common time after the expansion goes down. Warp Gate about to complete. We also have a Sentry that will complete as well here. And the Marine count going to scare away that Mothership Core pretty easily.
He does see the high number of Marines right now without the reactor. That's the key point right now. So now he knows that his opponent might be going for heavy aggression, and that's the reason why he's chrono boosting out the gateway and the core.
Yeah, also getting a Forge behind this as well. Going to probably try to put a few cannons in his mineral line here, but the problem is the medevac, it is complete. We also have Hellion about to complete as well here. I guess he just wants to send the Widowmines to the main base. Ty behind this, grabbing his expansion, and the Mothership Core not at the natural yet, but we do have some defense here from Stats, and Ty pulls back here. The cannon is in production here. The Widowmines will get a shot or two off here, but once that cannon completes, then the Widowmines aren't going to do anything. At the same time, Marines at the natural of Stats here.
And he needs to make sure the bunker does not finish, because if the bunker finishes, there's no way that Ty can actually, Stats can actually save the Nexus. at the natural. So really nice Nexus Cannon does kill the bunker and one Marine.
All right, so behind this, Ty, he's getting his expansion. Of course, going for the Armory. Going to try to do some Hellbat drops behind this. He's going to still continue using the Starport and Factory to deal with this. But overall, the defense from Stats, he lost one worker, man. That's
Phenomenal.
it.
Really phenomenal defense, I have to say, from Stats. But remember, game number 1, he was doing a nice job defending against the attacks, and all Ty needed was one break and one mistake from Stats, and he lost 10 probes.
Yeah, and even look at these Hellions, man. They can't do anything.
Yeah, they can't do anything, but at least this time around, he saved the medevac.
Yeah. All right, we have a bunker on the way, and Ty's naturally is going to start building some more units there. And I feel like the follow-up here is going to be a Hellbat. So we have some Marines at the main base, but good force fields are going to finish off pretty much the rest of these units here. Stats taking a very solid lead here. And Ty looking like he's getting a little nervous here, making some mistakes, trying to desperately do some economic damage to Stats, but he's not having any of it. The Hellions now moving forward here. They are stacking up a little bit, a bit of a mistake here, but the cannon will be able to eventually pick off the 2 Hellions there, but still only killing 3 workers total.
So now Ty, he knows that he needs to make something happen. He's just going to follow this up with Hellbats and trying to kill a lot of probes.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the only way he can get back into this game right now, because just like game 1, Ty's gone for a lot of aggression early on, and it hasn't done anything.
And remember, in game 1, one of the Hellbat drops did a lot of damage, so that's what Ty is looking for right now. He's trying to draw out the Stalkers to the natural with that one empty medevac while the Hellbats are going inside the main base.
All right, here come the Hellbats. There's a cannon there, though, in addition to 2 Stalkers. The probes, though, they don't want to stack up. They could get picked off very easily. Oh, no! The probes there getting very low. Some of them getting picked off here. Bit of a miss micro from Stats there as he loses, I believe, up to 7 or 8 workers total now. Up to 8. And I feel like the split in there could have been a little bit better. It looks like he panicked a bit, but still, overall, not too much damage has been done. And behind the Stats, he's getting the Templar Archives. Ty right now getting the +1 attack going for the Stim right now, but the Hellbat drops, they're not ending just yet.
Yeah, the one at the natural, I don't know if there's any cannons over there. There's one cannon being built right now, but he could still get a lot of probes before the cannon finishes.
Let's not forget those sentries can be killed off quite easily by the Hellbats. They actually end up picking off 2 of them, and the medevac continuing to heal here as well. A High Templar moving forward, but that's not going to be able to do anything. And Hellbats, they're quite resilient. They do a lot of damage, and now Stats is starting, I feel, to fall apart here. You know, he lost a High Templar, he lost a lot of sentries. They're losing 2 Stalkers.
That was fantastic micro Ty. He knew that his opponent wanted to go for the feedback, so he pulled the medevac away and sniped the Templar first before healing the Hellbats once again. Healing the Hellbats once again.
Yeah, and now up to 16 workers have been killed. Ty is back in this game, actually way ahead of his opponent now, 77 supply here.
Hellbat dropping inside the main base once again, and he's going to lift him out of there.
You know what? I don't even know why Ty tries to do the drops before the Hellbats, because they don't ever do any damage. It's always the Hellbats that dish out the real pain.
And that's a little bit painful for Stats right now, as both players do not know that there's a pylon over there or the command center.
Yeah.
But with the Hellbats, he's been doing a nice, Stats has been doing a really nice job. The Starport and Factory has been gone unscouted, and he's denied mining from his opponent for a long time.
Yeah. And behind this, we have a Ghost Academy on the way from Stats. There's only 2 warp gates here for Stats here. He's adding on an additional 3 now, but we're starting to see the lack of production and economy from Stats really hurt him now. He is getting an Immortal, going for the +2 armor and +1 attack. Looks like the pylon finally scouted here, and the Hellbats will pick off that pylon quite easily. And the worker count, pretty even now, but the Terran player with a slight advantage. More probes being ran around here, the deal of the Hellbats, and just they're going in a merry-go-round here.
They aren't as slow as Reapers, but still slow compared to all the units out there.
Yeah. And the Immortal will eventually pick off that Hellbat. They help the Stalkers.
He's not stopping with the Hellbat drops. It's so annoying as a Protoss player. You expect the Terran player to stop harassing sometime throughout the game, except Ty is never stopping. This is like watching Turn from Samsung Khan. Yeah,
Turn loves the always be on the aggressive. And we're seeing that play from Ty here. He's using it very well and to his advantage. Every time he drops, damage is done.
Yes. compared to the last game where the damage has never been dealt with, this time around he's doing a nice job killing some probes and at least pulling all the probes off the mineral line. And if you look at the economy right now, Ty completely caught up. He's going to go for the helmet drop on the Templar. Really nice play. And he also picks it up and gets it away with it. Really nice play by Ty, as that one was really worth it.
Stats, man, he is just really falling far behind now. 84 supply, not 94 supply to 126. He's adding on a lot of gateways here to try to ramp up his production, but his third base hasn't even started yet. His production cannot match the Terran player, and we're already going to have Ghosts out in time to deal with the Templar. So just, I mean, I don't really know what Stats can do to come back in this game beyond having a just ridiculously positive outcome in a fight.
Yeah, and this is really do or die situation, I have to say, for Stats, because once he starts taking a third base right now, it's going to get harassed until the game is over. And Stats, he's kind of forced into this position where he needs to win a game with a powerful gateway army. Except Ty, he knows what's happening right now. He's building a lot of bunkers, up to 3 bunkers being constructed. Combi Shield is out on the way, but the Conclusive Shell already finishing.
+1 armor and +2 attack are getting close to completion here. Ty actually really worried for his third base, decides instead to just lift up that command center. And
this is actually nice.
Yeah, this is really smart from Ty. He is going to lose a little bit of SCVs and supply depots here, but it's going to give him the time. Oh,
nice EMPs on the Archons right there, and also remember, those units are trapped over there.
EMPs from the high ground as well. Now the Marines attacking here, and the Ghosts as well, the SCVs. Yeah, Ty can actually just easily defend against this with the units that he has currently, and Stats is going to be forced back.
Yeah, and the problem is he still doesn't have a third base behind this. Usually in a scenario like this, Protoss can come back into the game where the Terran player doesn't worry about pulling the SCVs from the third base. Protoss player takes out the command center, or at least kill all the SCVs over there, and Protoss player is thrown in such a position where the worker count is similar between the two players, and now Protoss player can take a third base and slowly come back into the game, except Ty, he knew what Stats was going for. He pulled every single SCV from the third base right away.
Yeah, I would love to see Stats go for a third base now. He needs to desperately get that up, otherwise he's going to just run out of fuel.
He's slowly running out of fuel even right now. Look at the supply between the two players, 141 to 115 over a Protoss player. He is taking a third base behind this, but he is also supply blocked right now.
And Storm is about to finish for Stats here, so he will have that in his army. But the problem is, Ty, he's already got a great amount of Ghosts here, at least 6 or 7 in that army. And the +3 armor, +2 attack on the way for Stats. We do have Ty getting his +3 attack as well. So upgrade-wise, it's going to be pretty even between the two players, and the proxy pylon is going to get scouted and picked off there. Ty moving across the map now with a contingency of forces. Does Stats have enough to defend against it? It looks like he does.
Well, he has some units over here, but the High Templars are being forced into Archons once again, and Ty only needs to do is apply some pressure and get a ton of gateway units out, and force Stats to just waste a lot of money into Zealous, because right now Stats in a position where he wants to tick switch into Colossus so that he catches his opponent off guard, except he's only sitting on 2 base economy. He can't do so. He can't do so, and Ty is doing a nice job just keeping constant pressure on his opponent such that Ty is forcing Stats to stay on Templar-based army.
All right, the Ghosts coming forth here, and it looks like one of them is going to get picked off there. Backing up now, Stats, he needs to be very careful warping in additional units. He's got a really large army now. I think he needs to go for the attack.
Yeah, he can go for the attack. That's still few. Hellbats mixed in, and a lot of Marauders coming in also. He might try to ignore the Nexus Cannon, but he's fighting outside of the range. And remember, there's only one High Templar on the left side, trying to see if he can get a perfect storm, but evades it really nicely.
Ty still trying to attack up into this location here. The charge lots are almost completely obliterated now. Additional ones warping in. Ty still, he's got a lot of units here, but he is being pushed back temporarily. Nice Storm hits a lot of units there. Does Stats have enough to push back this army? It looks like he is going to be able to go ahead and do that.
The problem is the Zealots are still attacking, and there's not many units to support behind this. All the Zealots are taken out, and all Ty needs to do right now is take out the Immortals. Trading evenly right now is not an option for Stats right now, as he's only on 2 bases.
The Storm does prevent Ty from reinforcing that location with additional units, but the damage has been done, and Stats, I feel like, you know, he is going to secure this third base, but he's still behind in economy.
And like I said, the Colossus is so late from Stats right now. 20 minutes into the game, he's trying to get his own Colossus out. But Ty is controlling the pace of the game. This is why he is having a nice lead. He has a 4 command center going down right now. He has up to 3 command centers. The work account between the two players is similar. But if you look at the supply, he still has a nice lead against his opponent, 127 to 110.
Ty doing a great job at keeping the pressure on Stats as well here. He is constantly attacking there. Gonna go ahead and take that 4th expansion now, actually just lifting the command center from his main and putting it at that 4th base as he continues to do some harassment at the 3rd as well. 54 to 59 probes. Ty still in the lead here. He's going to go for another drop, it seems. 2 medevacs into the main base. And let's not forget, last game, this is when the drops started doing a lot of damage to the Stats.
Yeah, well, this time around, the problem is, you know, last game, Stats was taking the lead in the game. He was controlling the pace of the game while Ty was trying to make something happen. This time, Ty doesn't need to make something happen because he is already far ahead in the game compared to his opponent.
Yeah, he's making the waves this time around here. And one of the medevacs gets sniped there. Stats still, despite being behind, he is holding into this game here. But oh no, the High Templar don't want to get picked off. Those are our very high energy High Templar there. One gets destroyed. Those probes, a few of them getting picked off there. Ty still with the damage and harassment he's done here has kept him in a very commanding lead throughout pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, and the drops, you know, the drops that he's going for left and right, he doesn't have to do right now, but he wants to make sure that Stats is in the most uncomfortable position as possible. Look at this helmet drop inside the 3rd base once again. Gonna eat away on some of the probes.
All right, the Zealots moving forward. They're getting a few additional Hellbats killed. Look at the worker killed count total here. 40 workers killed.
There is a Zealot run by at the 4th base right now, which is eating away on some of the SCVs.
And, well, we can't see it right now.
We can't see it right now, but there was something at the 4th base, and can we see the workers lost tab?
All right, medevac moving forward here towards that 3rd base once again. And it's going to be able to do a little bit of economic damage as well. Ty regrouping his forces, still quite ahead in supply. I think Stats wants to take a 4th base here. And
nice killing 8 more probes at the 3rd base right now, and only 2 SCVs were picked off at the 4th base.
Yeah.
So
oh, nice snipe on that medevac as well, using the High Templar. I have to say, Stats does a pretty good job with his feedbacks when it comes to hitting those medevacs.
Well, here's the problem. Even if he defends against the medevacs, right now Ty has enough economy to remake them instantly.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he's going for constant drops, because he knows that, well, 1 or 2 medevac down, okay, 5 seconds later, I still remax out.
And Ty, let's not forget how far ahead he is in supplies. Pretty much 25 or 20 over his opponent. We do have a triple drop here on the way, on a mini Doom drop from Ty. Going to move over to this 3rd base here. The problem is, I don't know if Stats, well, he's got a lot of High Templar there. Is that going to be enough to defend against this, though? Actually, the medevacs are moving towards the main base, and there's nothing in there to deal with them. And we just saw a huge warp in from Stats as well.
Yeah, so this drop is going to do a lot. He could take out those important tech buildings. The cannons just gone down. Templar Archives is going to get sniped.
And the problem is, Ty, if we see a lot of Stats' units move into the main base, Ty will just move towards that natural or 3rd with a large contingency of units, but instead, Stats moving across the map here, splitting up his units properly. I'm not sure if the charge lots can deal with this.
Well,
those units are just too beefy.
Well, the thing is, he's trying the same thing as the 1st game right now. But the biggest problem is Stats doesn't have any economy to do so. Look at the supply, look at the economy right now. Only 500 minerals. The previous game, he had up to 2K minerals to warp in 20 zones at the same time to defend against drops. This time around, he is only sitting on 3 bases, 25 minutes into the game.
All right, it looks like this drop will eventually get dealt with here, but Stats not being very cost efficient at all while dealing with this here.
Oh yeah, and this is actually hurting. Helmet drop at the natural once again, pulls the probes off the mineral line. And 26 minutes into the game, and the natural expansion hasn't been dried out. That shows how
53 workers total, man.
That shows the constant pressure that Ty has been putting on Stats throughout the whole game.
Stats has a lot of amazing, or excuse me, Ty has a lot of amazing multitasking abilities, and I'm glad to see him fully utilize those in this game here. Looks like he wants to move across the map now.
Medevac drop! with the Ghost inside him, and nice EMP on all of the Archons over there. There's not going to be any Storms left from Stats except for that one High Templar over there, which gets sniped.
Yeah, it looks like there are a few extra High Templars here, but still a great job from Ty. He's going to go ahead and pick off the rest of those using those Ghosts, and I think, you know, it's time for him to move in now. He's got a huge supply lead over his opponent here, and just, you know, utilizing Stim. He's got the superior army here. GG is called from Stats, and Ty evens up the final qualifier. Group A 1-1.